Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Baseline. We're really excited today to bring you a very special guest. Today we have Roni Weissman. She's not only an aspiring actress and writer, but someone who's embarking on an inspiring journey to pursue her passion of acting all the way from her homeland of Israel to the United States. So, Roni, thank you so much for being a part of us today
Of
and
course. Thank you
share
for
your
having
story.
me.
Yeah, it's interesting to everybody out there that's always trying to pursue something greater in their life. And we're always looking for mentors or a way to kind of figure out a way to, how does this person manage through this type of adversity? Or I feel
Yeah.
like I can't go on with this and maybe I should quit. And you're somebody that has not done any of those things and managed to be successful in one of the hardest industries, I think, out there to be successful in, which is a Hollywood actress. And so I wanted to congratulate you on your success with that. And
Thank
then
you.
wanted to kind of delve in how you were able to manage coming down here and then some of the ins and outs, the highs and the lows in
Hmm.
terms of your pursuing. Did you ever question yourself? These kind of different things as we go through. So I wanted to start kind of from the beginning, which was Israel. And what was your experience living in Israel? How was that? And
It was great. It's Israel is very similar to the United States in a lot of areas. I would say the biggest thing that is like a big change difference between Israel is the service, the military service. It's compulsory, so you have to go. It's mandatory. You have to go once you turn 18. So that's the major.
yeah, I was thinking about that because I know that about Israel, everybody has to serve, men and women both,
Yeah.
and I kind of like the concept of that in a sense because here in the United States, a lot of times when the country goes to war, it's really just the military that goes or the people that volunteer, and the citizenry is not involved
Right.
in the highs and lows and the good and bad that comes from the war. I don't know what obviously good can come from war when people are losing their lives, of course. But in terms of that, I thought that's a really interesting difference between the United States and a lot of countries that do have compulsory militaries where everybody has to do that. What was your experience like in there?
It was very interesting. It definitely gave me a sense of responsibility and self discipline. Um, it taught me in a way that if there is a mission to be accomplished, you just do the best you can to accomplish it. There's not much room for excuses when you're in the military.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
there's something you gotta get from point A to B. You're gonna get there.
I've heard that about the military. It's somewhat of an interesting experience because you're no longer with your parents anymore. Everything's very strict and regimented. And a lot of people who do martial arts actually, they say is the byproduct of that is gaining confidence and a sense of self or
Yeah.
self respect. And I wonder if the military does the same thing because it cuts you off from all the things that you used to know and forces you to do your best when you're most tired or
Yeah.
to wake up when you least want to wake up. And that's an interesting discipline that I think might get taught. I have one friend of mine. He actually was, and this is decades ago when I was first going to school out of high school, and he went to the military. And prior to him going to the military, he was a very disheveled guy.
Yeah.
Like he was late all the time. He didn't dress well. He didn't comb his hair. He had long hair. All of this kind of stuff. And then 4 years later, after he came back, he's dressed in a suit, sharp, completely disciplined. So you feel like that was how. Well, obviously, you probably were not disheveled as this guy was, but
Ew. Well, I did cut my hair. um, it gave me I don't know if it will work. How do I say it? How do I explain it? So it takes a certain personality and a certain job title. Like I was only supporting combat. I didn't have to go to combat. Thank goodness.
yeah, yeah,
But I did have to look very respectable and very neat because of my job there. It did give me personally a lot of self discipline. Like it's like waking up to go to a job you don't want to go do, but you wake up and do it anyway. Or going to the gym, which you really don't want to do right now because it's late and you just want to watch TV and relax. But
that is a daily fight for me, just to go to that. Sometimes I just look in the mirror for 45 minutes, wondering how I'm going to get out the door to do it. But you're right. You have to have that willingness to do something you don't want to do, like you love it. And it's interesting that the military does kind of offer that in a way.
Yeah,
So,
it did it for me. A lot of people I know, it's just like, oh, okay, I'm done. Now I want to live my own life the way I want to live them. And
yeah. What do you think some of the positive principles you learned from the military, in terms of the discipline and your self-confidence? How did that carry over into you pursuing the passion of acting?
Well, the self-discipline, it's a big one. That I think that's the main one, because I was always a little stubborn.
Yeah.
Um,
I was about to mention that because we had spoken off camera a little bit, and that term came up, the stubbornness part. But
yeah.
it's funny, that trait, sometimes people will be like, oh, stubborn, but that actually is a very good trait because it makes you stay right down the narrow in terms of what you want to see for yourself in your own life. And you have to block out all those voices that are telling you, no, you can't do it, or no, this is too risky, or no, everybody tries to do this. What's the chances that you can do this? Yeah. And those are very hard voices to block out when you're trying to pursue something that's as big as being an actress. And so, I would wonder how that military service kind of played into that. But the discipline part, I could imagine being a huge part of it. Mm-hmm. But so, how far did you get into the military? Were you pursuing a big line of like in terms of your ranking or your levels, or what were you achieving once you were in there?
Funny you said that. I really wanted to be in a certain unit, doing a certain job that really interests me, but the downside, or not downside, I was pretty proud of it at the time, was you had to sign up to be a lieutenant, to be an officer.
Okay.
Higher rank, higher responsibility.
So you were a lieutenant.
I was a lieutenant.
Oh my goodness.
Never got to that job, but I was a lieutenant.
So I should have said LT Roni Weissman coming to the. Okay, I see how that goes. But that's an amazing.
Salute me next time. Okay?
Yes, definitely next time I'll do that. But yeah, that's amazing. So when you were in Israel, did you act there as well, or did you just come here and pursue it right off the bat?
I acted there a little bit. I studied acting there, and I had a couple fun opportunities and scary opportunities.
Okay, we're going to want to hear about the scary one.
Oh yeah. But I feel like something in me was just not. When you have a stew and it's not well cooked yet, like there's something missing and you don't know what. That's when I said, okay, I think I need to move to the United States and learn from the best teachers, best coaches, and just to do that. So I had a lot of fun opportunities there. But
okay, what was the scary opportunity? Which one was the one that scared you the most or gave you the most?
Oh, yanks? I have two.
Two of them. Okay, let's hear both.
Well, the first one was the movie Disengagement. It was my first ever acting work. And it was on a huge set by this big director whose name is Amos Gitai. He's very well known in Israel and actually in Europe too.
Yeah.
And my scenes were with Juliette Binoche, who's a huge actress. And I was so scared because I didn't know. I was never on a set. I was just in my first year in acting school. So I was terrified of that. And when
so was it like an intimidating type of terrifying?
Oh, yeah.
You guys are big professionals, and you have to be
big professionals, and I'm like this young rookie who doesn't have a single day on set.
See, this is what I like, because I can't imagine that anybody that's trying to pursue your line of work in terms of actress writing doesn't have that moment when they're in front of somebody that's like, oh, I can't be messing up in front of this guy, or I can't be messing up in front of this actress over here, or this director over here. Yeah. And so how did you manage that anxiety and do you still have some of that as you do auditions and pursue acting here?
Yeah. So first of all, the way I dealt with it on set, and yes, I do always have a little bit of anxiety of not being good enough, but that's my own battle. But on set, the producer Ilan Moskovich was such a saint, and he knew me, he liked me, and he was guiding me through. And he said, "Okay, now the sound guy is gonna put the sound on you, and this is the sound, and it's okay, you got this. It's okay if you improvise. Don't worry, you're great. You were hired for a reason. We trust you." And I'm like, "Okay." I did mess up a little bit, but you know what? It was okay.
Okay.
It went through okay.
All right. Well, I'm glad you said that because I'm kind of having that anxiety that you just described being here with you today. So I'm faking anything I'm doing right now. So what was the second most scary one that you were mentioning?
Oh, the second one, I was already, I think I was 26, and I got my first independent feature film, and I was the lead in it. And up until that point, I did some smaller roles, smaller projects, and I was getting a little more comfortable with those. But a feature film and one of the lead characters, that was so scary. I created. Oh, I wish I would brought that. I created this book with notes about how to do this scene and what should I feel here and what should I do there, which is such a rookie thing to do, but I was trying to prepare for it to be the best possible, so I'm not the reason that we're wasting time on set.
Sure. So that was a different type of anxiety than in relation to the one you had the first time. First time you were just with great people. And
I was just looking at all this huge equipment and all these people running around and everybody knows exactly what they're doing, and this one was, okay, all eyes are on me right now, and if there's an emotional scene and I have to bring it, I gotta bring it, and I was pushing it.
So the big actor and the scene, how were the actors and actresses towards you in terms of, were they gracious or were they a little bit more?
They were so amazing. Yeah.
What were the best parts about the people that you work with or the main actor?
So first of all, I got to talk for a few minutes with Juliette Binoche, and I told her this is my first time on set, and she looked at me and said, "Oh, that is wonderful! How wonderful!" She was very kind, very, very kind, and the other actors that I had scenes with were just, "Oh, you got this. Don't worry. It's like you and I were talking. This is you're just talking. You're just
very cool."
Yeah, they were very chill, and everybody were trying to kind of soothe me into it, and it worked.
Very cool.
Made me feel at home.
So did you ever have an instance now that you are seasoned and sagged and doing all these things where the roles were reversed, where somebody was brand new on a set and you had to kind of talk them through and make them more comfortable, or how did you approach that?
I would love to help someone. I didn't have that.
You're like, I'm doing it right now.
Listen, son, listen. Yeah, no, I still haven't had that opportunity to help somebody who's new. Everybody in LA is so talented and like, oh yeah, I did this and this and this. And I'm like, whoa.
Well, I appreciate you helping me. I'm brand new at all this stuff. And I appreciate how gracious you've been in doing this. Because, a lot of times when people reach your level of success, sometimes, they don't want to help somebody or somebody that's brand new, and legitimately so, right? Because they haven't established themselves or they haven't, and you've been so gracious in terms of being here, and I appreciate it. I think that says a lot about we use.
Oh wait, what about the check of $1 million?
Yeah, that was already hidden under the mail, so we'll see how that goes.
No.
So you had to battle a few voices other than your own mind in terms of your mom and dad. Were they a little bit resistant about you coming to the United States? Were they worried for you?
They were mostly worried. My mom was very supportive, and my dad was a little more. He has this analytical, logical perspective. Mm-hmm. He's a professor, actually.
Oh, what does he teach?
He's actually a gynecologist, but he does